Hello, everyone. Here we go. Welcome to Simulation Talk 212. I'm going to start seeing them. How you doing, everyone? Def 001, Deb. We have a new member, Skinny. Welcome. Al, how are you, brother? Hope everything is okay. Andrea is joining from TikTok. How you doing? PDX, how are you doing, brother? Listen Meta. Nice. Limbo Gene, Guru, how are you, brother? Ebony, Jessica, how you doing, everyone? Boba Fett. Matthew, is that you? Always good to see you. Welcome, everyone on TikTok. Mickey Sandu, Happy Man, Ruben. Slowly, everybody are filling up. Slowly streaming in. How are you doing, everyone? Today I'm going to try and keep it at an hour because I have a super early morning, so we'll try and do exactly an hour. We'll see if we succeed. Let's see what we can dive into today. Really excited to see what actual next big breakthrough will happen either in the world or on my end, so we can talk about something fun, exciting, and novel. All you see right now is politics, and more politics. What's up, Guru? Indeed, join our Discord, please. You can either visit my YouTube channel, Dango Thoughts, and check out the link of our Discord on YouTube on my main page. The power off. Also, you can check our website, Code of Reality, which has a lot of information about what we're doing. But a lot is going on Discord, so people can go and find out what we're about. Welcome to the regs, to the mods, and to the newcomers. Appreciate everyone. What's up, Jess? Thank you for the website. Can you talk a little bit about world resets? Are they real? Boba is asking. I don't know. I think there's some case to be made there. In terms of the simulation, if we are trying to get to a certain level before we get to move on to a certain stage, and if we're not quite at that place, it would make sense that the simulators would kind of reset the system a little bit so we have more time to evolve and understand the right things. But I don't know. I really don't know. I know a lot of people are talking about, obviously, I think it's the context with which you're asking the question now, that we're kind of like before a big reset. Maybe. Not sure. Thank you for asking, Ebony. That question feels good. I appreciate it. I had a decent day. Yeah, I did quite a few things. I like being able to fulfill my calendar. So in that regard, I had a pretty good day. Today was a little, I don't know, the energy was kind of low, but I tend to take these days now with grace. I just kind of sink into that slower energy and just do things in my own pace. Cali Cat saying, I think I'm a brain in a vat somewhere. Well, you're a brain in a vat right here, so spot on. Welcome to the chat, DJ, as well. Jays. How was your day, Ebony? What did you do today? It was pretty productive, yeah. Love that phrase. Our best today can be different from our best tomorrow, and that is okay. Couldn't agree more. Thank you for this wisdom. Somebody's asking if I haven't seen the show What We Do in the Shadows. No, never seen the show. Quality time with Chris, playing video games, no complaints. That's amazing. I really enjoy this. Always makes me feel very comfy when I hear that. It's kind of awesome. You just sit and enjoy the games. Pretty dope. Nico, how are you, my brother? So good to see you. Ebony got interested in the shadows. haven't heard of it. What is that? That's awesome. Uh, it is kind of awesome to enjoy shows and games and all of that stuff. Melly is saying, "Hey, did the experiment? Everyone saw it. Amazing. Thank you for letting us know. If you don't mind, or I mean, if you mind, of course, don't do it. But if you would be so gracious, if you can fill out the questionnaire on our website, codeofreality.com, it's extremely helpful because we do collect that data and it really helps with future research. So if you don't mind, that would be amazing. But you can also tell us now. That would be great to hear. If you want, I can bring you on. You can tell us. You can just tell me and I can tell people what you said. What just happened? What just happened over here? How much meditation do you do normally? Times 5 people so far. Amazing, Melly. Thank you so much. Recently, I have to be honest, I haven't been meditating that much. Optimally, it's like 2 hours a day, but recently I've been really slacking. So I think it amounts to about 30 minutes to an hour a day, which is definitely not enough, but something. Yeah, I am also on TikTok, exactly, Guru. What's up, Alexander? The frog guy said hit the like button. I like it. It's like Simon says. What's up, Camibel? So good to see you. What a question. Hello, who are you and what is your purpose here? How formal. I am Danny and my purpose here is to unite humanity. Who are you and what is your purpose here? Good to have you. Let me know if you want to come on. You're more than welcome. Just send an invite and I'll bring you up. Yeah, the frog guy, aside from what I already spoke about, there was unfortunately no more interactions with the frog guy since then, but he became somewhat iconic, I guess, because people really like him. Thank you so much for the gifts. I appreciate you coming, Ben. We can manipulate time and space. White House. Is that what the White House said? That's amazing. I mean, it would be even crazier if the White House itself spoke. We can manipulate time and space. I don't know where the White House is from. I don't know what this accent is from, but that's what the White House sounds like if it talks. If it talks. Which part is the mouth? Obviously, the front. Also, I mean, there's a lot of jokes there with Clinton, right? But we'll leave it at that. I guess what I'm more curious about are what beings you see while under the influence of meditation versus meditation. Oh, I've never seen beings on meditation. I am not convinced that the molecule space and the meditative state are even the same space. They don't feel at all the same to me. You have shown up on my live a lot now. What do I do with that? I guess you just join. Welcome. Met different ones doing itch, and I'm wondering if there's a connection. Maybe. I can only speak from my own personal experience. I've never seen beings in meditative states, even in very deep ones, so can't really speak to that. I got Arnold Schwarzenegger's voice in my head now. Who is your daddy and what does he do? Who is your daddy and who? No, that's not Arnold. I don't know what that was. I don't know what in the world that was, but it was not Arnold. You got what you wanted, Cohagen. Now give people air. That's my best Arnold impression. What is my meditation process? Like this. Watch. I'm enlightened. And I do this once in a while. Do you, I mostly practice Vipassana. Total Recall, they should have never remade it. They remade it? I didn't know they remade it. Well, now I want to watch the remake, but it sounds like you don't recommend. Have I ever encountered dark entities? Yes, of course. Everything is out there. You can fight the algorithm and not join. Fight the power. Fight the power. 90s rap. Fight the power. Have you ever encountered dark entities? We read that. Do you use any kind of assistance for meditation, like the Gateway Experience or Septisync? I've tried these, but I'll be honest. When it comes to meditation, I'm kind of a what's the right word? Purist. I do believe that if you're actually going to do meditation, you might want to practice without any helpers. So if you are doing meditation, you want to be able to do it even if you're stuck in a cave all by yourself. And if you're going to be using a lot of hemisync, then I'm sure it does things. There's no question about that. But so the substances. And the whole point is that can you train your mind to do these things naturally or something like that, right? So when it comes to meditation, I'm a big proponent of just train naturally. Or if you want, you can try things and then see if you can bring your brain to do it naturally. But in any case, you want to end up being able to do it naturally. So not with Vipassana, it's a very it kind of keeps it pure. Like it tries to definitely not involve any substances. In fact, if you get into the more advanced courses, you can't even have alcohol, even excuse me, even a sip of alcohol for 2 years. Otherwise, for the last 2 years, otherwise you can't really do the more advanced courses. What is the most interesting observation you've made about the egg, or your favorite thing about it? Actually, honestly, I'm basically in a minority among my own community, or not really my community, but the community that kind of aggregates around the stuff that I do, which I'm a part of. But I'm kind of in a minority of I don't really have that strong of an interest in UFOs and UAPs. Not because I think they're not real. Is there's something about it that is just not really interesting to me at this point. I was really interested in all of that when I was younger. I'm not saying, by the way, if you grow up, you won't care. It's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that my brain, the older I got, the less I got interested in that. It's just that I got very disenchanted from the way that things are done, and I started paying attention, and I noticed that it's the audience here would know. I call it. They're all basically partaking in what I call around the cornerism. Everything is always around the corner. It's right. It's coming. It's coming. It's in a month. It's in a year. It's tomorrow. It's in a week. And nobody seems to notice that when nothing happens, they just keep paying attention. Why do you keep paying attention? I'm not saying the UAPs are not real. I'm saying the people are talking about them have no idea what they're talking about. That's my position. So I'm not really that interested. I watched the interviews with the guy who extracted the egg. He looks like he's reading a script to me. I just can't get myself interested in that stuff. Plus, I'm really more interested in things that I can touch, try, do, less things that are theoretical at this point in my life. Septicine has been really fun. I don't see much doing meditation, but the veil thins in my daily. That's awesome. There we go. There we go. See what we got here. You're hyper today, Ebony? I'm like the opposite of that. That's really funny. Have I been contacted by any weird 3-letter agency? No, that never happened. What's up, the divine sorcerer? Oh, there's a bunch of comments. Hold on, let me go back real quick. Praga reminds me of a giant eyeball I saw the first time drinking special tea. Got super afraid, but it pulled out its wallet and showed me its kids. I mean that's just polite, I think, right? Get to the chopper. Have you ever been? We got that. Yeah, actually, I should probably rewatch Total Recall. That was great. We watched the Terminator series recently because Kelsey had never seen them. I know, crazy. So we watched them. We still haven't watched the third one again. After the third one, it's not worth watching, honestly. But the third one was surprisingly good for a third sequel. That's kind of crazy that it was still a good movie. Do things. I thought meditation was the practice of not doing things. Not sure what you're talking about. It is just around the corner. Nice. What's up, Ben? Thank you for the energy, Ebony. I already feel it. I appreciate it. Total Recall is great. Evil Icon, how are you doing? C5 is a thing. Meditation, connect with UAPs. Who's that? Greer? Yeah, I don't have good things to say about Greer. Contact is an incredible film for sure. Twins was great. What are you talking about? It's such a feel-good movie. Simple. Wait, what is that? Quetzalcoatl? What is that? It was really cool. How do you get them? Oh, I don't even know what that is. Sorry. I feel very ignorant. when I was like 10, UFO flew through my backyard and hovered in my neighborhood yard. So I always, yeah, I mean, no, I've seen a UFO too a few times in my life. Again, I'm just claiming that the majority of people in that space that are talking about it most likely don't know anything. And I know it pisses a lot of people off in the community, but it's just I can't shake it off. It's the way they're talking. Way too much certainty about things that they can't possibly know. Oh, everybody's saying we have a new channel on Discord now. Community members for showing off core merch and pictures. Oh, thank you so much. I didn't even know that. That's amazing. What's up, Mr. Blue Sky? Good to see you. Change my YouTube because I'm trying to avoid doxers. Long time no see. Oh, how are you, Borscht? Good to have you. I think I've seen you a couple of times. I just didn't know that was you. That's awesome. Um, you agree with what? That most of them don't know? Yeah, it's just what it feels to me. It's just that the stories are so childish, you know? I spoke about it before, but I think it's worth reiterating. I remember Joe telling when he had, because I think he just nailed it with that one. When he had, what's her name? Kai Dickens, the woman that did the telepathy tapes. So Joe told her, I believe you, but there's constantly a part of me that goes, yeah, but, and then he told her that it's weird because he can't shake it off, right? It's almost like this part that just insists that, but is it really, And then he said, so it wasn't that part, but right after that, he said that he has a friend who told him a crazy story one time that he knows for a fact is true. The story involves a grizzly bear running through his and his friends' camp in the middle of the day, and he ended up on the back of the grizzly bear, riding him for like a good distance before the bear dropped him off. And and Joe said that the reason that I know the story is true, well, first of all, there were other people that he knows that corroborated the story, but he also said something very interesting. He said when he was telling me the story, I could feel it because he was telling me like that he's never been more terrified in his life. And I was like, yes, that. And then he said to her, whenever I hear these stories from people that were abducted or stuff like that, I feel nothing. And I said, that is so true. That's what it is. I feel nothing. It's not that I don't believe them. I just don't feel anything from them, which can be, and it's an interesting assumption, is that they believe it, or maybe just their minds experiencing it, but their body is not telling you the story because you feel through the body, right? So there's no resonance there. Thank you, Evalicon. So they weren't there physically. And maybe it means that you just don't visit these spaces physically. It's also possible. But it is an interesting piece of information because I never thought about it before. That is so true. That's my problem with these stories. I feel nothing because the body of the person telling you the story is not telling you the story because the body wasn't there for that reason or another. You do with it what you will. So, that's my issue with that. But I am, of course, in full awareness that aliens are real and they're here all the time and we can see them when we do the molecule. Is it also the same thing that you see when you see UAPs? I don't know. I truly don't know, but I've seen them, so I know they're real. I don't know what they are, though. They're unidentified aerial phenomena. So also, if you like really listen, I know that if the thing is, today I had this conversation with somebody, right? And they sent me one of these latest episodes on Danny Jones. I love Danny, he's amazing. But when you bring certain people that kind of talk about certain things with so much confidence, and if you're already entrenched in this and you're just watching it for mental entertainment and you just like the way that people do that and they talk about it, you should absolutely keep doing that. I would never tell anyone, hey, like to each his own, right? But if you're asking me, like if I have to analyze it seriously, when I'm like just listen to the details of how people describe things, right? If they just say these crazy outlandish things without any justification whatsoever, they just kind of brush over it and then they move on. They're just like, yeah, and then we knew. Who is we? What do you mean new? Like what? Where's your evidence? Where's the, there's so many claims that are made just kind of like, just so easily. So yeah, it doesn't really stand the rule of evidence. And I said to that person that we were speaking today that to me, from everybody I've ever observed in that space, the only person that I've ever seen that to me seems to be holding water in terms of not just um, his his attitude towards it, but also clearly he's acting like a real scientist in that space, is Gary Nolan. I have to say that even Jacques Vallée, which I do agree that for the most part he kind of holds the crown of kind of like the reasonable person in that space. I sometimes catch him do things, and I'm like, that's interesting. Hmm, that's interesting. That never happened to me with Gary Nolan. It's Jacques Vallée. I accept that he's kind of everything that he does, and I respect it. But there are moments where he does something, and I go, "That's weird." Like that, there's something that's a little off there. It's almost like it's a some kind of a weird move that I didn't expect to hear in an honest expression. And the same happens to me with Bob Lazar. I believe Bob Lazar, by the way. I think he's one of the people that are absolutely speaking the truth. But sometimes he does things, and it's almost like he just leaves it too much kind of floaty in the middle, almost on purpose, and that makes me suspicious. But that's only if I really put my suspicion hat on. So the only person that never sounded my alarms was Gary Nolan. He's the only one. Yeah, I know. Greer is. If you don't know Nikita, just be very upfront. For me, Greer is basically the same thing as and I always forget his name, and it's really funny because I'm not doing it on purpose. But I guess Billy Carson. For me, Greer and Billy Carson are basically the same person. It's the same kind of shtick. Just con artists through and through. There's not a honest bone in their body. So that's my opinion of both of them. Deb Duckling is asking if I got your email. I'm getting a lot of emails. I'm not sure what was the email about and what email did you use. By the way, this is a good opportunity to remind everybody. If you're sending an email of the kind of theoretical stuff or things like this to Dango Pro X, that email automatically goes to a place where I'm not seeing it. I'm not going to read that email. Emails for stuff like that is lasersimulationx@gmail.com. I do not read theoretical emails on Dango Pro X. Dango Pro X is reserved for important things that are just like immediate, something that requires action, something has to do with appearance somewhere, business, things like this. If you email anything to Dango Pro X, it's not personal. It's just that I have a lot of stuff coming in, so I have to kind of arrange it. And I've said it before many times. This email is not listed as one of these emails. So if you sent it there, I will never read that email. It just goes automatically to do not look at. So if it was something theoretical, you might want to resend the email to lasersimulationx@gmail.com. You didn't read the book I emailed you? Funny. Did you see Greer Jesse Michaels recently? No, I don't like watching him. Honestly, I've heard him. I watched him on Danny. I've heard him talk before. His everything, his presentation, the way that he talks, he just there's so many things that are just like it's so painful to watch. Um, Coupled with the fact that I think he's full of shit, it's like I can't watch this. It's like you know, yeah, he's just like I don't know how anybody doesn't see he's just yeah. And that's a big it's psilocybin. Nice. I like it. Um that's his that's the number one indicator. When somebody is like, is full of shit, they're trying to throw the stink at everybody else. Oh, they're this, they're that. I mean, listen, like I said, I've not met one person in that space aside from Gary Nolan that didn't at least once sounded my alarms. And I'm fair, like I'm truly watching it in a fair way. And but I can say that some actors are definitely better than others. So I guess I can say there's another person who never sounded my alarms in that way, and that is Commander Fravor. By the way, it doesn't mean that I can't be wrong about people. Of course I can be, but I'm just expressing my opinion. Commander Fravor to me seems to be a very honest individual. Also, what I think is going on is that people like Commander Fravor reporting a real thing, and then all the people around them that are capitalizing on this business, they are aggregating around them, elevating them, so they get to talk around them, claiming things, selling books, and all of that stuff. That's what I think is going on. So I know that Greer is in the habit of shitting on uh who was the head of ATIP? What was his name? What's up, Ellipsian? I haven't seen you in a while. You're on the fence about Lazar? Yeah, I'm the same way. I mean, I like the guy. I tend to believe him, but he does do things sometimes. I'm like, But then again, even Jacques Vallée does that to me. So, what's up, Natalie? Louis Lozano, thank you. I've seen him once in one of his appearances on the Theories of Everything podcast on the Toe podcast with Kurt Jaimungo, and there was this instance there where he was very emotional, and there was like a heavy, he was very heavy, and it's not like you can't act it out. You can, but that was a good performance if it was acting. That seemed very sincere to me. Way more than I ever seen Greer show any kind of emotion, and he's the person that I know that Greer is shitting on a lot, right? Lulazando. So again, the truth is that I don't really care that much, and it's not because I'm like resigned or jaded. It's just that there's only so much attention you can give things in a day, and I prefer to spend my time giving attention to things that I can actually verify. Again, there's as many theories as there are people in the world. I always say that. So, what is the relevance of? It doesn't matter what it is. Recently, I don't know, you know how it works. That's how the game works. Whenever a series of things appear for you, that means the universe is trying to teach you some kind of a lesson there, right? Or at least that's what I choose to believe. So recently, I've had a lot of completely unprovoked, really, that much by me. It was just a natural occurrence. Very dense, sometimes quite intense conversations with different people about all kinds of topics, from politics to aliens to all kinds of stuff. And I was trying to look what is the common denominator in all of them. And I think what it is that it's trying to, but at least what I'm discerning from it is that it's trying to help me also kind of look at my own biases and my convictions and what's my epistemology? How do I know that I know, right? And when you look at it closely, because I like to think about these things pretty deeply, and when you look at it closely, we what we do is we so quickly move from a particular instance to a projection of what we already believe on it, and then it's being like engulfed in our belief system in a particular orientation that now it's very hard to move it because you will see it through the lens of whatever you already believe, right? So if you watch a podcast of a debate and then you leaning towards one side, then after like big debates like this, all of a sudden there's like infinite videos on both sides and everybody thinks their side won. How can this be? Right? Well, that's because people just see everything through their own frame. So I guess my question to myself is can I actually step outside of my frames and look at a more balanced place? And it's very difficult when if I have to be honest, if I really want to discern what's going on in any topic, from politics to aliens to whatever it is, the only thing that would constitute actual evidence is something that simply doesn't exist available to the public. It's just not there. Like, you can probably find it, but it's not something that anybody ever shows you. Every single piece you read about anything today, truly anything, it starts with a strong opinion title. You don't have really stories anymore. It's just all opinion pieces, all of them. Just a strong title, and then assertion after assertion after assertion after assertion after assertion, link that links to some kind of a general website, doesn't have anything to do with the specificity of what was being claimed. Assertion, assertion, assertion. And this is what people think is a proof for anything. And then when you have enough of these repeating from the same side, it's like, oh yeah, look, they're saying it too. It's like, yeah, they're being paid by the same people. Of course they're saying the same thing. So can I step outside of that? And that's a very difficult question. It's a real question, right? And I guess I'm saying it now just to the effect that I decided that my mental health is more important to me. So unless it's relevant to something that I am doing and involved in, I just don't care. I just don't care. Like, it's like, okay, so they did this, they did that. Cool. What would you like, tea? What do you want from me? Like, I don't, just like, who cares? Like, if it's your mental, if this is the thing that gives you meaning, by all means. But I would encourage everyone, for your own mental health, ask yourself, why does it matter to you? And maybe the answer is pretty obvious to you. To me, the answer, if I really ask myself that question, is not that obvious. All of these conspiracies, that some of them might as well be true, unless I can go and do something about it, I'm not, me saying it to other people is not going to change anything. If you think that by you talking about it, you're going to change anything, that's not what's going to happen. That's never going to happen. So I think for me, the mental hygiene is way more important at this point. This is why I'm having such a hard time connecting to these big things, considering the fact that all of them contain so much complexity. Think about the simplest claim that you can make, right? Already coming pre-charged with all of these sub-claims about things, especially in the alien community, right? It's like there's already truisms there. Roswell, that was a spaceship. We already know that. We already know that. No, we don't. No, we don't. We don't know that. We have no idea. It can be so many different things, right? So I'm not even willing to take that step. So imagine, let alone all the steps that people want to take into all these crazy directions. And I'm more and more in the position that now more and more people, and I'm sure you guys have noticed now, that the laser thing is becoming more known. A lot of people coming out of the woodwork and claiming that whatever we see in the laser is what they now reporting in some other thing. And it's going to happen more and more, obviously. And usually these people never seen what's in the laser. So how do they know? And listen to the amount of, this is, by the way, why I keep saying that we have to pull the brakes on we got to figure out the code. You should try, but claiming that we kind of know what it is, the danger of it is that it's going to make it more and more memes about people thinking that they know what it is when they don't know what it is. And then people are going to run with that. They're going to connect it to all kinds of things. And you're not going to stop it. But to the extent that I can, I don't want to get my brain cluttered like that. So when I'm ready to take a serious step forward, you'll definitely know. But it's going to be based on something that we can measure, record, know. It's going to have to be something like that. I did your experiment. It's up there for me in cool life experiences. That's amazing. Exactly. Outraged? More tonight at 7:30. Conspiracy folks need to be more skeptical about conspiracies too. Yeah, and actually soon I'm going to be talking to Ben Stewart again. Love Ben. He's one of my favorite people. I don't know if you guys know. You definitely should go and check out his channel. But Ben is really big about talking about conspiracies and things like this. And he frames it in terms of, I'm just raising questions. I disagree, but I love him. He's an incredible human, amazing musician, creator. Love him. Absolutely, you guys should absolutely check out everything he does. But he's on Gaia, but he's very measured. But we had these conversations. He was on my podcast too. You can find this conversation, Ben Stewart, on my podcast. It was a really good conversation, and we talked about conspiracies and things. And he knows a lot about it more than I do because his career is talking about it. But from all the conspiracy people, he's probably going to be the most balanced you'll ever going to find. And I don't even think he defines himself as a conspiracy guy, but he knows he kind of fell into that niche, right? But he also does a lot of other things. He's an incredible creator, movie maker, filmmaker. What's up, Kirsten? Good to see you. And I'm going to be talking to him again soon. We're going to be talking about well, we're going to be talking about a lot of things, but one of the things we really want to outline is the power of story. Charles Eisenstein is really big about talking about this kind of stuff. Another good podcast on my channel, by the way. A lot of plugins today. It wasn't intended, but that's a conversation I really enjoyed. You can look it up. Charles Eisenstein on Dango Thoughts on YouTube. And the power of story is really that kind of ultimate thing, unless you can find some kind of a universal perspective from which you're operating that is much more closer to what the Buddha taught, right? Which you just dissolve your story and you don't care that much about what is being said, and you just look at what is actually being done in the world. And I'm excited about this conversation. It's going to be a fun one. Feel like you have more tangible evidence, or at least on the right trail to understanding something. I appreciate it, Lipsian. I think so too. Some people would disagree, but I'm only basing it on the fact that I can show it to other people. There's a lot of things that people here on the channel would know that I'm reporting, like my experience with when I saw all the different gods and Jesus Christ and all of that stuff, and my console. I don't really put them forth with the same amount of thrust and confidence. I am absolutely convinced that all these things are real, but I don't expect anybody for 1 second to accept what I'm saying because it's I'm experiencing it. I am fully aware that unless you're experiencing it, it holds no water for you unless somehow my word just by fiat magically convinces you, which I don't expect anybody to carry that position. The reason I'm so convinced is because I can show the laser to millions of people, right? So not millions of people, a few thousands at this point, but still. And that's what gives me the confidence. These claims, all of them, they're so flimsy. They're so flimsy. And I'm not willing to take the bite. I don't bite. Yeah, you should watch the podcast with Eddie Bravo. The full story is there. It was a really nice podcast. Go to Eddie Bravo's channel. Have a really nice 2 hour conversation with him. Uh, 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 uh. Look into it. That's the name of his thing. But I think the channel's name is Eddie Bravo, actually. Not Look Into It. He has a series on it called Look Into It, which is really funny. Matt at Quantum Consciousness talks about this. Clutter is not stoppable. Yeah, so there's always going to be computational irreducibility. There's always going to be errors in the system. It's part of reality. I agree. But error correction is something that conscious beings like ourselves do. So the degree to which we can do that is the degree to which we will be survivable. That's the thing that I'm actually seeing. If you ask me what would be that one thing that I can point to that I think is actually going on in terms of derailing civilization, is all the ideas that lead to eventually people wanting, for that reason or another, laying down their common sense and critical thinking. That will be the end of civilization for sure, because that's what ends it every single time. And it's kind of ironic because it always the rah-rah around all the positive things is always somehow including some kind of a meme about knowledge is bad. No, that's too much knowledge, not dangerous knowledge. All of these, you know, and to me that idea is the danger. Ethan. What Ethan, Sarah? Good to have you with us, by the way. We laid down common sense long ago. No, I disagree. I understand what you're saying. I hear you, but I disagree. I think a good chunk of humanity is very far from laying down common sense, and thank God. Read David Deutsch, The Beginning of Infinity. That's my Bible. Read it. Great, incredible book. The code? Well, the code has to be the color of the light because the light is the thing that makes you see the code. So all of these questions about writing the code down, all of that, a bunch of information about that is available on our Discord. Psilocybern, please come join it. You can find. It's okay, baby girl. I just moved the chair. Yes. You can find it on our Discord. Come check out my YouTube channel, Dango Thoughts, and it's on there listed on the main page. Oh, you didn't hear the story about the gods and the yeah, it's a long one. I'm not gonna do it today. I did maybe here somebody can remember which I did it quite a few times, but it's definitely in the lives. I don't remember which ones. I'm gonna be making a video. I haven't started working on it yet, but I definitely will make a video about this because I need to think of an angle aside from just me telling a story. I need some kind of a lesson from it, and then when I'm ready, I'll make a video from that angle. But yeah, it's definitely a wild one. The Bible and NKS by Wolfram. That's amazing. James Fox. Why am I? Why is my brain? I don't even know who this is. How's that? I have no idea who James Fox is. What do you think about experience on spirit molecule, where we see things in nature, such as the clouds, water, or the trees? What is the relationship between the spirit molecule and natural world? I think it is the connectivity, the behind the scenes, the nuts and bolts of everything we see as our own reality. That's the relationship, I would say. Project Gravitar. Project Gravitar. Oh, it's the new one about yeah, I'll watch it. I like what's his face? Yeah, today as you can see today is not names name Bob Lazar. I like him. Just as a person, he doesn't rub me the wrong way. But there are moments in which when he talks about certain things, I'm like, what is that? Billy Carson plus Stephen Greer equal Terrence Howard. Now, Terrence Howard is a whole other animal. I don't even know what that is. Actually, that's not true. Billy Carson is way worse. Chris Bledsoe sounds familiar. Oh, I don't know enough about him, you know? I don't want to say. I don't know enough about him. Hard to say from his face. Sometimes certain things are etched in the face, but I think it's not my intuition is not very strong either way. I need to watch more of his stuff. Okay, seen UFO in 29 Palms, California. The entire area smelled like ozone. People never say that. Smell like cold BS. Was overwhelmed with the smell. Yeah, no, again, I am of full acceptance that these things are real. I want to make it perfectly clear that I am not saying that the UAPs and the UFOs are not real, and maybe they're not even aliens. I'm saying I accept that fully. I'm just saying all the people that talk about it look like they're just full of it to me, most of them. Oh, and how can I forget? Actually, Kirsten were so gracious to introduce me to Paul Hynek, who is one of my favorite people at this point. He's also never tripped my alarms. But then again, he was he is the son of a very famous scientist who really kind of investigated UFOs from a very scientific perspective. And also his position in general is very scientifically oriented. And that has to always stay in the picture. So Paul absolutely is also somebody who I respect in that space. Sorry guys, I'm gonna keep moving forward. There's a lot of questions about particular people, but I don't necessarily want to go down the rabbit hole talking about each and every one of them. Let's see what we got here. Let's go to the end and then go work back up. How's that? Yeah, Paul Hynek is a solid human. I'd still sit and have a drink with Terrence Howard, but Greer couldn't be bothered. At least Terrence is nice and curious. I don't know how nice he is. I'll be honest with you. After that last show that he did, I'm not so sure how nice he is. Pablo Zerra might still have. I had a lot of hope for him until I saw that last performance, and I was like, "Yeah, big red X, bro, big red X." Pablo Zerra might still have this information, even if his story is true. If they misled him at any length along the way. Yeah, I guess you're right, and I guess I'm only talking about how much the person matches what they believe versus knowing something else to be true and then saying something else. That's really all I'm talking about. How many layers in there's this information that nobody can claim. Comic of Content just did an episode with Tommy G. Sorry, no idea what that is. Indeed, please like and share. I appreciate you guys. If you are on the live, no matter if you're on TikTok, on X, on YouTube, or on Twitch, please like the live. The algorithms love that. LP saying not to be negative, it just seems to be that knowledge tends to be held over others, but I'm late to the party and unsure of the specific context. Nice. The famous case of I don't know what we're talking about, but I'll voice my opinion anyway. Welcome, LP. I'm not really sure what you're connecting it to be honest. I would love to comment on this, but I don't really know what you're talking about. What do you mean by knowledge tends to be held over others? You mean like leveraged over other people that don't know the knowledge? Is that what you mean? Oh, I see. Yeah, problem with knowledge is that it's the ones in power who have the leverage to use it monetize. I disagree with you pretty strongly, actually. Knowledge is the one thing that cannot belong to anybody with just power. Knowledge is knowledge. If you have a piece of information that can do work, let's define that as knowledge, it makes zero difference how much money you have in the bank, how much influence you have in the government. If you know something, you know something. Question, do you know how what to do with it? That's a different story. But knowledge is the one thing in the universe that is completely democratic. It is uncorruptible. The only question is, do you have it and do you know what to do with it? And it is the biggest power in the universe, not just on Earth. So I would strongly disagree with the opinion that knowledge can be utilized by more powerful people, but it is the one thing that it makes no difference who you are. If you have the knowledge, you have way more power than anybody with all the money in the world, depending on the knowledge, yeah? I have some meditation stuff. I haven't. I just haven't uploaded much. I think I have an old one on YouTube though. Oh wait, there's some conversation happening and I missed it. We can't talk about Doctor Hyman is pure evil. I mean, I have some pretty strong opinions sometimes, and that's okay. I did watch the full debate with him and the other guy, and I have to say that I do see the human in there that I didn't see before. So I was definitely a little bit too fast on the trigger there, but he is definitely what you would define as possessed, to my opinion. Uh, trying to go to the comments as fast as possible. Ooh, Purple Heart's my favorite. I watched Avatar on L one night, and it was so effing cool. I mean, it doesn't get better than that, I think. His name, he recreated binaural beats and helping her again. Unintentionally, he might be super legit or completely with the feds. Who are we talking about? SoundCloud. I haven't posted in a while. Send it to me. We. Oh, Bledsoe. Yeah, I don't know much about him. Bledsoe will like cry talking about some stuff. Is very spiritual to him. Oh, what if people can be democratically displaced mentally? What does that mean? I don't even know what this sentence means. Knowledge and time are unbuyable. Exactly. Losing respect for Gallimore and the fact that he won't do experiments is very weird. No, I think I appreciate the vote of support, but with Gallimore, we're actually in good standing. They even offered to pay for the first round of experimentation. I'm simply not focused on that kind of experimentation. So I think that eventually we'll get to that point. And I know he's very busy, both with his new book coming out. He's now proofreading Terence's biography, which is this thickness of a book. I think this thick. He is doing his new Molecule X project in the Caribbeans. It's pretty busy. But no, we're like everything is in good standing. Everything is good. It is up to us to figure this thing out and present it. It's a great opportunity. I'm sure you said it 100 times, but how the heck did you stumble into the laser discovery? I mean, that's why we're making the movie. We're shooting a whole documentary about it, which will be ready by the end of the year. But thank you for the question. Again, all of that stuff can be found. If you haven't watched the trailer, you should. It's on my YouTube channel. It's here too on TikTok, but you should definitely watch it on YouTube. Dango thoughts. And thank you so much for the gift. I appreciate you. Let's see if it's attached to a question. Most of the people that have been mentioned are just regurgitating Plato's cave with their own twist. Much love to all of you. All right, Nikita. Well, I appreciate it. You might be right. Nikita Kargalski. Спасибо. I'm convinced sound has something to do with it. I study cymatics and sound therapy. Yeah, sound is very fascinating and very healing, or can be. But having the knowledge of that is being able to pocket it is dangerous. Tesla's work being monetized. Again, knowledge is information that can do work. What you do with it is a different story. But one thing you cannot say is that knowledge depends on how much money or influence you have. If anything, you can use knowledge to gain both of those. What's up, Shy? Trying to read through the comments quickly. Chat. Fist bump to knowledge, indeed. Fist bump to knowledge is a t-shirt. Somebody needs to make that. LP, I encourage you to read The Beginning of Infinity by David Deutsch. It will change your life, and it will change your perception of what knowledge is in the universe in a way that you will now be able to go back, and it's an incredible thing. Read The Beginning of Infinity by David Deutsch. Hancock did that show on Netflix where he left you with more questions than answers. Well, to be fair, that's what physics does too. So I'm not a huge fan of him, but if I have to be fair, that is just the nature of the game of knowledge in general. Awesome. And let me know how you like it. The recent, well, you know what? I'm not going to ruin it for you. You should read the book. There's some people that are very influenced by the book, just as I am, and I really love it. There seems to be this common denominator by people who are deeply influenced by this book. There's like this very optimistic view of the future and humanity, and I love that. I look biblical. It's probably this jacket. 30-minute one. Yeah. So some of it is in there. No, there's like a whole documentary coming out about it. Galmer Samsung is really good. He strikes me as an open mind, but conservative. Yes, indeed. Well, he's not that conservative. He feels like he needs to be more conservative with me, which, by the way, I completely understand. Yes, but it feels like he's not working with the molecule anymore, and this is coming now from ego. Again, I hear you. I'm not sure that's the case. I don't think we necessarily have to work with the molecule endlessly. For periods, you need to be able to do that, of course. And there's not a lot of people on the planet that has experience as you. And I agree with that it holds water. But focusing on building the structures around it and the science and everything is also very important. And that does not necessarily require partaking the molecule all the time. I have no gripes with the way that Gallimore is going about it. And I'm pretty sure that when we're going to be able to substantiate it in a way that more mainstream science will be comfortable with, he'll be the first person to jump on board and help out. So, but I feel you. Who's writing Terence's biography? No, it's already written. Forget the name. If you go on Gallimore's X page, he posted about a month ago or a few weeks ago where he's about to start reading this thick thing, and I think he said who wrote it there, if I'm not mistaken. I thought you mean who writes Terrence Howard's biography. I'm like, I hope no one. Nah, that's too mean. He's still a successful person, but not in this space. Any other book recommendations? The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. I sound like a broken record because those are the first two that I always recommend. I mean, there's a lot of books I can recommend. I read a lot. I actually don't. But it was just hilariously defensive for no reason. Why do I need to tell you that I read a lot? But in any case, those are the two that really holds my kind of like number one in terms of just amazing books. The Beginning of Infinity And the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Start with the first one. There's 4 or 5 books. I think there's 5 books. One of the funniest philosophy books you will ever read in your life. How many books do I read per year? It depends on the year. I'm a very slow reader. I actually am dyslexic. I'm never, it's not like an excuse, or I'm not really kidding. So it is extremely sometimes painful for me if it's extra active, but I enjoy reading when it's good. I This is also maybe why I really enjoy writers, how I measure if they're really good writers, that understand rhythm. Not a lot of writers understand rhythm. When when you can read something and it just kind of goes down like fine wine, it just like goes. That's a writer that understands rhythm. He uses words, or she, sorry, writers that are really good. They use words that the way the sentence is arranged, it keeps a flow versus like getting stuck on a particular word, or that's a whole other art. And there's only a few writers that write like that. And but I completely evaded your question. I don't really know. I listen to particular books and read particular books. Maybe read 3 or 4 a year, which is a very low number, and listen to another 5 or 6. So maybe average of 8 to 10, but really not much more than that. You would find the code to the universe. You said it. Can't take it back. No backsies. You heard it here first, folks. I will find the code to the universe. Ellipsian, I'm going to hold you to it. It's a Russian thing. I feel your pain reading. I don't know if it's a Russian thing. Not necessarily. It actually developed later in my life, and I was born in Russia, so I was reading Russian first. But English at this point is, for all intents and purposes, my first language. I love English. I know a lot of people, especially that were born in America, thinks that English is like a boring language or whatever. No, it isn't. It's like a race car. It's an amazing language, especially American English, by the way. It's an incredible language. Just listen to somebody who really know how to speak it, like Terence McKenna. Can you top that? Can you top that? That's English. You just need to know how to use it creatively. And yeah, there's a lot of people that are like really good at that, right? Sam Harris is really good at that. Alan Watts was really good at that. Not in terms of writing so much, actually. He was like an okay writer. Douglas Adams is a genius. Douglas, to me, and some people, literary critics here are literally going to start tearing their hairs out of their heads, and I will say it anyway. It goes, Shakespeare, for me, Douglas Adams. Number 2, baby. Douglas Adams is an absolute genius. The guy who wrote The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. His comedic chops and the way that he arranges information is just, oh my God, it just blows your mind. Whitehead is pretty well. I mean, Whitehead is, I mean, yeah, I guess he's also a writer, but yeah, he's pretty good. I mean, Dostoevsky, right? But Dostoevsky, even translated Dostoevsky, is quite amazing. But that, I guess, it's already the thanks to the graciousness of the people that were experts at doing that. He's all right relative to his younger brother. Nice. You know me too well. Bob Dylan? Yeah. Bob Dylan, if you can understand what he's saying, yeah, amazing. Hey, yo. Somebody said Sam Harris uses the tone to hypnotize you. And that is exactly right. Also, as a speaker, by the way. So I've noticed, and all incredible speakers have this. I'm always trying to kind of practice it. I can't say that I'm good at it, but I'm always aspiring to kind of do more of that because it holds the attention well. And if you notice, all the incredible speakers, Terence McKenna, Sam Harris, Alan Watts, aside from cadence and So there's first of all, there's uniqueness to their voice. Alan Watts, right? Terence McKenna, and kind of like that draggy thing, almost like you stretch a vinyl record, but they hold your attention fully, because they, exactly what you said, it's almost like a snake charmer. Like there's a cadence and a rhythm, and there's a beginning and an end of a sentence in a way that is very surprising. There's cliffhangers. It is mastery. They don't have to speak fast, because they're gonna speak in their tone, and you're gonna follow and be sitting there and be ready for the next word. I mean, that's just, yeah. When people know how to use language, it's just so incredible to me. Somebody's very angry at us, and it's our mom. Your mom is saying, "I'm getting tired of you, Palantir, deep fake AI. All you live streamers are just code. Prove you're human." I'm not. I am a robot, and actually, I'm your real mom. So go to your room. Um, Rails of McKenna. Ramdas, I agree. Yep. Again, not quite as powerful as Terrence. I'm sorry to say, but there's not. I don't think anybody has ever lived, to my opinion, that was better speaker than Terrence. In terms of speaking, no one even comes close. The fact that he could do it on the fly. I mean, he sounded like a book when he was just, signing a check in a restaurant. Robots worship God, the robot God. So Ramdas came to my college to speak one time. I stayed after and chatted with him. He was a cool person. That's amazing. Wait, how old are you? It looks like you're like, bro, you look so young. How's that possible? Well, kudos to you. That's amazing. David Foster Wallace. Correct. Correct. But David Foster Wallace, there's something obviously very. Have you ever actually read Infinite Gist? Infinite Gist. Have you ever read it? I think the reason that people are saying it's so difficult, it's not the fact that it's so thick. It's that his use of language is so bizarre. He's actually reminding me a little bit of Dostoevsky, but so there's a little bit of Blake in there. I don't know if you noticed, but he's an absolute genius. Let me just say that first of all. He's an absolute. David Foster Wallace was an absolute genius, but because he was such a tortured soul. And what was the name of that movie with Jesse Eisenberg? Heisenberg? What's Heisenberg? Dude, today me and names. Jesse Heisenberg, no? Eisenberg, not Heisenberg. That's very different. He played the reporter that was following him, right? And yeah, anyway, so there's a movie about him. And the movie's also good. There's this famous speech that he obviously gave about fish. If you do David Foster Wallace, fish, it will come up. It was a speech he was giving in a college, and it's wonderful. And he took his own life not that far after, which is a very unfortunate thing. But yeah, in terms of language usage, I fully agree. It's just that he also some like at least Infinite, just like I went through maybe half of it. I listened to it at first, and then I kind of tried to read it a little bit, and it's like, oof, it does not go like fine wine. It's like so like it makes you feel stupid, but unnecessarily so. Like it doesn't need to be that convoluted. That's my opinion. But in terms of his mastery of the English language, there's no question that he's one of the big ones for sure. I agree. Who else is that great? My college professor in philosophy, she was in school with him actually. Funny. Couldn't get past 25. So you know what I'm talking about. Hunter S. Thompson. Okay, yeah, I'm being reminded here of that I'm yes. Still nobody holds the cake for everybody can hold a candle to Terrence in terms of speaking, but yes, Hunter S. Thompson, yes. Also cannot argue with that. One of the absolute best. Who else? Oh, you're almost 40. Cool. That's amazing. That is incredible, and that is actually a very impressive story. The fact that you met Ramdas, that's amazing. I had a one time when I was doing one of the Vipassana retreats, and there was this older guy who came to help us in the kitchen. He was like 80 plus. He was doing Vipassana like since the whatever it started with Goenka in India 50, 60 years ago. And he used to be really good friends with him, Ramdas. He said that Ramdas used to come and stay at his house all the time when he was coming for book tours. So that was my closest proximity to interacting with somebody who knew him. I definitely never met him, but that would be wonderful. Elon Musk is the worst public speaker. Yep, basically. You almost went to India because of him. I really got into Mars Volta because the lyrics were unique. I'm afraid I feel very uneducated right now. What is Mars Volta? Hold on. Or maybe I know it and I just don't remember. Now I'm going to look it up. I'm going to pretend that I always knew it. Check this out. Watch my face of somebody who knew it. Oh, yeah, yeah, totally. Yeah. Mars Volta. Yeah. No, I have no idea what that is. Oh, it's a band. Cool. Somebody said Joe Rogan is a CIA asset. How do you know this? He's on to us. Get him. Oh, cool. He told a story about a guru who ate like 50 hits of acid and had no effects. Told him, "Oh, I've heard about this. I ate 50 hits of L. We can't say that here. I ate 52 or 54 of them. Driving to Vegas." Speaking of Hunter S. Thompson, true story. I did this. Um, Duncan Trussell tells the story. Yeah. Who else is that great? Come on, let's think about it. Jordan Peterson speaks well, but his voice is very shrill. This voice, it's very difficult to listen to. But yeah, he's a good speaker. I would say differently. His thought process is really well arranged. He's sharp like a knife. But you can he doesn't have quite the Sam Harris, Terrence McKenna kind of dreamweaver kind of thing, magician, uh, linguistic magician kind of quality. He does this a lot, which is a very magician kind of. When they interact with one another, maybe I do imitation days. What's up, Wendy? Johnny Depp. I mean, yeah, but he's basically reading the script from Hunter S. Thompson, but his voice delivers it. Boom, boom, boom. Absolutely. He was the perfect man for the job. There's no question about it. I just scared my husky. She's like, "What are you doing, man?" Um, you went to junior high with Johnny Depp? We have some pretty great celebrity connection here. Need a typewriter and a pack of cigarettes. Yep. You have a husky? There you go, husky fam. You were at HD Perry Middle School in Miramar, Florida with Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp is from Florida? I thought he was from California. He looks like a California boy. Come on, help me out. Who's a great writer? Let me see who else I have on my. Oh, I can't look it up because it's on my phone. I would look through my Audible. Let me think. Actually, David Deutsch is a great writer. The beginning of Infinity, he proved that he's a really good writer. Because these ideas are very very hard to communicate. Who else? Danny Goller. He's a great writer. Really like reading him. It's great. Really good. He writes. He writes. He's the creator of. He writes www.codeofreality.com. He writes it once a day on a text. Johnny might get a medal of the worst breakup of all time. Probably yes. Back in the 70s, even watched him play guitar in my friend's garage and smoked a joint with him. That's amazing. He went to California after junior high school. His parents moved him. Got it. Yeah, he looks a lot more like California. Like he looks like he belongs in California. Who? Chuck Palahniuk? I don't even know who that is. Oh, he looks like he's a good writer. I don't know. He has that like one of those looks. Have a good night, guys. Who is from Kentucky? Oh, Bill Gates. He's from Kentucky? Oh, Fight Club. Well, yeah, that would be a good writer. One of your top 10. I mean, he has that look. He has that look of like a. He walks into a coffee shop. I'm like, that's a writer for sure. Louis C.K. would be a great writer. I mean, comedy writer, but definitely a great writer. Come on, man. I want to check my Audible so bad now. Let me see if I can. My memory is not going to completely fail me. Oh, damn. Okay, it's almost after midnight. It is after midnight, so I'm gonna have to slowly adjourn. So we'll think of more great writers tomorrow. Appreciate you guys. Love you. Thank you so much for being here. If you want to follow me across platforms, it will be Danny Goller on TikTok and Instagram. It will be Goller Danny. Just swap up on X. LaserX83 on Twitch and Dango Thoughts on YouTube. DANGO Thoughts on YouTube. Come join our membership program that includes weekly lives, aside from the daily lives for members only, in which we break down videos, all kinds of stuff. We're talking much more in depth about things and can pay much more attention to every individual in the chat. Early access to all my content. I have a new podcast up with Tyson Adams, and you can watch it now, which will only be available for the rest of everybody on Saturday. And it includes Zoom calls with me, which one is coming up soon from the second tier and up. Come join. It helps the project. And it will also include private things from my life that only exists on YouTube Member and will exist nowhere else. I appreciate you guys, the community, the mods, all the people that are contributing to the project, and all the people that are just showing up on a daily or a semi-daily basis to make this what it is. I love you guys. Thank you so much. Have a good night. See you tomorrow. Peace and love. Ciao. Have a good night, guys.